We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast. And for Top Gun Sales Bootcamp Training, let's dive right in. Luke, what you got?
And so we made a hire or without doing a trial or just a couple phone calls. And it's like, I have this bad feeling about it now that we're in it. After we met with him in person, and I want to be wrong. Like, where is it? How do I not self jeopardize? How do I give it a fair chance?
Um, you just look at it, and everybody wins if you're wrong. Like you want to be wrong. You love being wrong. It's good to be wrong. Um, and so I wish I was wrong far more often. People have said nobody likes to be wrong. I like to be wrong like most of the time. I wish I was wrong more, way more. So the driver
Mm-hmm.
personality can see into the future and can see stuff that, yep, that's not going to work out good for people. So it makes, everybody's happy if you're wrong. So it makes sense to be wrong. You hope to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 100% foolproof? It's not necessarily. The you have the hiring, you have the hiring system, and so with you know like there are certain safety protocols that you cut corners as you get more successful, and that's how people die. uh, you know there are certain things that you can cut corners in, and but there's policies, procedures, SOPs, standard operating procedures. There's systems that you follow for a reason. And if you don't do
Mm-hmm.
these systems, and that's for the pre-hire, that's for the pre-hire. What do you do in the interviewing and going and putting them through a process? And then what do you do once they go ahead and get hired, the onboarding system? And so if you have a sales prospect that's a 2, you need a system that's an 8, skills and or a system that's an 8 to convert that 2 into a sale. You have a system that's if you have a prospect that's a 7, you need a system that's a 3 and or sales skills that are 3s to get it there. And so same thing is true with a hire. And so I definitely take on people, like I always like to have one problem client, because problem clients go ahead and force your system to be better. One problem team member, because your systems force you to get that problem team member forces you to get better systems. Challenge is the cost. You don't even know what the cost is of bringing somebody in, and can it hurt your company. So, um, what are your biggest concerns?
He's not. I just said he's going to take the quality. He's not. I don't know how to say it in Dutch. Maybe Kevin can translate it. He's not going to be concerned about enough about the quality and detailed enough, and
Yeah,
he's just gonna oh, it looks good. Well,
right. Have you guys talked to him about that?
no,
Why
not
not?
yet.
Why not?
I'm not sure.
So this is what happens often in relationships. Women will think, well, men are going to get better. Like I can change him. And almost never does that happen.
Hmm.
And so they're delusional. Are men the same way? Probably. Yep. They think, okay, I'm going to change my wife. Yeah. No, you're probably not. And um, so it's going to get better. It'll just get better. It's probably not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Like a leak in a pipe isn't going to get better. It's just not. It's going to get worse. And so the sooner you address that, the better. You know, the sooner you address that, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because what happens is people will go ahead and become more defensive the longer you wait. Like, why didn't you tell me sooner? And so, if you do it based on personalities, then it's not as, it's not as personal. People with this type of personality don't know, haven't seen you yet, but based on, so what personality is this guy?
I think he has a little driver. I'd have to look.
So you need to like that stuff gives you insight into the future. You know the mechanics of it. So there's almost like if your child, you think your child is, hard of hearing, you can take them to the doctor and test them, or you can do what?
Ask him if they want candy.
Yes, softly, quietly. Same thing is true. People, it's fascinating. People will go ahead and um, have details when it serves them well. So they just want to rush it down. Now, my dad was colorblind. And so, he had a hard time seeing the difference between green and red. So he could probably never be an electrician, you know, if you got to have color. So if somebody's colorblind, they're colorblind. There's nothing you can do about the colorblind. It's like a disability. And so if somebody just can't see, if somebody just can't see what they're doing, like they can't see quality, they just can't. But you need to talk to them sooner rather than later. If you talk to them before you experience it with them, you can just say, hey, that's the benefit of me doing an interview before they ever get hired. Because you can record it and I can tell people where they're going to have problems before they have problems.
Mm-hmm.
And you go ahead and get into, you get into the pickleball. Well, you get into the like the Life GPS. So you get into the Life GPS here, and it maps out their personality and the whole team. See, one person's like a baby. A baby disrupts the entire family. Everything shifts. It's insane. And so you go ahead, see here, here's the pain, or here's the deal. You see that, and then you go ahead and then it gives here, their strengths, what to watch for, how to coach them, and a note on it. And then you have the pain test. And so this is what causes them pain and or how they'll respond. So when a driver perceives things get out of control, they move into their driver mode. When an analytic goes ahead and things aren't done properly in order, they move into pain. When an amiable feels there's conflict, then they start responding like an amiable. So me, expressive when it's no longer fun. So I wouldn't say you care about quality. You just don't want when things aren't fun. And just
Got it.
and it's not fun. It's not fun when a customer is not happy. So your motivation is. So we haven't dealt with this, I don't think, in the Top Gun, which is fascinating. When a customer is upset, you understand their personality. When a team member is upset, you understand their personality, you understand what causes them. So when we were doing our deck on our property, and I was very clear that I wanted overhang of a certain type, um, like I'm glad I found out that it was going to be, I don't know, 6 to 9 inches shorter. Like every day I get to live with that. It didn't happen. I mean, it was, I don't know, 3 inches or whatever it was shorter. But, if it would have been another 6 inches, every day I'd walk by that, that gazebo over the deck over the water, and I'd be ticked at you every.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so this is, so your motivation is not quality. Your motivation is probably you don't want to not have fun, and it's not fun dealing with clients. The analytic, they just want it. They like if the client isn't like if the client's happy, you're happy, even if the quality is not that great. And again, people pay for quality. If people aren't paying for quality, if the job doesn't have a certain level, they're not paying. It costs more money for higher level stuff. This is why craftsmen cost more money. Now, there's a minimum level of quality that's always there, always there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, teaching your team this is really, really, really important. So they understand they're self aware because people are not aware of what their weakness. So I played with Mike Bailey, a new friend of pickleball, and he owned his own electrical company, and so he had like 4 trucks or something. Sold it 8 years ago. Nice guy, like him. He's a double expressive and a double amiable on his secondary, and so he would have had. It's just funny, after pickleball yesterday, he and I were talking. There's I don't know 12 people. He said, "I think those 12 people need the pickleball book." Mark, is that okay? I'm like, absolutely. I just wouldn't do that. So socially, he's outgoing, and he said something about his pickleball game. I said, "Well, I can help you because I can tell when he's playing pickleball when he's expressive, but he has a very high quality. I haven't not sure why. So often it's an analytic dad. If you have an analytic dad and you're an expressive son, that dad tries to re-engineer you into him because he thinks you're not going to be a real man. He thinks, and so he's going to try to re-engineer you. That typically doesn't work, but it's a wonderful gift. But there's constant tension. There's conscious, continuous tension inside because you want to please your dad. For women, they want to please their mom. And so typically it's a lot easier for a son to please his mom and a lot easier for a daughter to please her dad. But the same gender, son to father, daughter to mother, it's much harder. So this stuff is really, 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 really important for everything that you're doing. So we're looking at bringing on a new team member, and she's a double driver, primary, double analytics, secondary. And I explained to her, and the science behind her personality, and so she's a woman, and so women are going to have a hard time with her. They just will in business because men are going to like her. There's no drama. It's to get the work done, get the work done, and so men are going to like her. Well, when men like women, other women are going to go ahead and have issues. And she was like almost in tears. She was so thankful, so happy that I explained that because it made sense. All of a sudden now, like her whole life, she's wondered, like, is something wrong with me? No, not at all. You were built and created that way. And so that's why this stuff is so important. And so you can predict the future. I don't know if you guys were able to see the report actually. Now you can. Sorry. Next time, if you can't see the report, just say something. So, so you can do this for your team. This is a pickleball report. You can do it for a team report. Like the vision is you do it for all your clients and their kids and anybody that's working on the job. So people understand, hey, this is when we say we're doing this because we want to better serve you, that's the truth. We're doing it to better serve them. And so if they're not paying for analytic quality, do you even take the job? We don't think you're going to be happy with the work. So it's funny, interesting when we had the our pond dug out, and it was a 70-foot excavator, and he came in, and I had all the depth chart. I had all the depth things in it. I had it 3D. I had it mapped out. You talk super analytic. And the guy came in and he said, Mark, and he was Amish guy. He said, Mark, honestly, I think I'm going to have to pass on this. I said, why is that? He said, I don't think I can make you happy. I said, oh, you can make me happy. It'll be fine. I don't know, Mark. So I knew what was going on. Subconsciously, he's like, yeah, he's one of those analytics. And no matter what I do, I'm not going to be happy. It was brilliant on his part. Absolutely brilliant on his part, what he did. And he went ahead and did the job. Very happy with what he did. Very, very happy with what he did. So he had a happy customer, impressed customer, and we got the job done. So, Kevin, what you got, sir?
Okay, so with me doing sales after work, I was just wondering, what do I do if I get callbacks while I'm working for Dreamscape? Or how do I not make that happen?
Yeah. So what you do is you go ahead and say the best time to call me, and then you control when people are calling you back. So you control when people are calling you back, and you say, hey, it's best to call me at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock tomorrow. So you tell them, you train them on what to do. And if they call back a different time, you told them, and so that's on them, and you don't pick up because every interruption costs 20 minutes of lost productivity.
Yes.
So if you have breaks, and and it's okay with Dreamscape, if you have breaks and it's okay with Dreamscape, you can say call me at 10:30. And so but generally speaking, you drive them into the afternoon when you can take them, or evening.
So one of the Action Vision coaches has spoke about picking up the phone, and I so far, like, I tend to always pick up my phone, or I try to, like, unless I'm meeting with a customer at that moment. But if I'm in the middle of the task and my phone rings, then I pick it up. Like, she recommended, or she told me that, like, you have to time block a certain time for your phone calls. You don't pick up the phone when you're in a task, and then after the task, you have a certain time to take care of that phone call if they left a message. But I do have some with the internet marketing, like, some people don't leave a message if I don't pick up. Whereas like, I don't know, do I pick up or do I let it ring on through?
Yeah. So as a general rule, that's correct. You're going to lose 20 minutes of lost productivity if you pick up. So your Action Vision coach is correct. In sales, there are exceptions. And so, your sales is your top. In a way, they're your customer. Like, they're the top priority, and especially coming from internet leads. So you may make an exception there. There may be a way, like, there may be a way to go ahead and program your phone to where you could text them afterwards and say, hey, I'll give you a call at 2:00 today. Or whatever time. But in sales, everything is about your prospect. Your prospect is your customer. And if you don't get to that fast, and so there might be something different there.
Got it.
Now with Kevin, because he's calling them, I mean, they're cold call, but because he's calling them, that's different than getting a lead off the internet. Internet leads are the most brutal because you can lose them because they're probably calling 2, 3, 4 people often. The advantage you have is your competition often doesn't do a real good job of follow up.
That's funny. I see that often where it's like, yeah, I contacted 2 or 3 other people and haven't heard back from them or something like that.
Even after bids.
Yeah, even a lot is they came out on site and then they never see a bid even.
Yeah, that can happen too. But I mean, you think about it, it's an hour at least to come out, probably half an hour. So it's an hour, and then it's the other option, Kevin, is you could partner up with one of the other EVAs or LPs, like Katie, and you could say, you could go ahead and say, hey, can I direct phone calls to you? And then you make sure that you're good with how she handles the thing, and you work things out with her. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. Or I don't know, maybe your wife. I'm not sure. And so you could have something else and say, you still drive them to you, but you say, hey, you can connect with me or my associate.
Gotcha.
Here's my associate's number if you want to call before then. So you're giving them options. So again, that goes back to the walls of opportunity. You're going over the wall, under the wall, to the left, to the right, blowing it up, tearing it down. Somehow, some way, you're going to make a breakthrough. Bigger wall, thicker the wall, the harder it is to make a breakthrough. The more important it is to make the breakthrough. And so you always have a minimum of 6 options to go ahead and solve any problem. So here's one. We often get lazy and we come up with the second or third one. We're like, okay, that works. And so it works. But if you'd tried 4, 5, or 6, they would have worked potentially 2, 3, 4 times as good. And we tend to go ahead and think of solutions because we're lazy. We tend to think of solutions in our personality. So the amiable thinks of solutions in their personality, analytic thinks of their solutions in theirs, the expressive thinks of solutions in theirs, and the driver thinks of solutions in theirs.
Okay.
So when you start thinking like another personality, we'll always divert back to our core personality, though it seems like. Anything else either of you guys have?
No.
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. So do either of you guys care about Kenny?
I like to think so, but maybe not.
It was such a long pause. It's like, and so maybe not. So is Kenny going to go ahead and go through this podcast?
Don't know.
So not only does that hurt Kenny if he doesn't go through this, because there is some really good material today, big time. And so we're going to have to go over it again, or worse, maybe we won't go over it. He's going to be missing out. He's going to have a gap of knowledge. He's going to have a gap of knowledge that, that could have been avoided. But why would he go through? It's harder to go through if you're live. If you're live, then you're going to go ahead and be live every day. You're live. You just do it. But when you go and do rebroadcast, when you're listening to the rebroadcast of it, it's crazy hard. Crazy hard. And so immediately that creates a trigger, or it should create a trigger. What's that trigger?
Nora?
Yeah. So did you kill it yesterday and go and say, hey, Nora, I haven't seen the manage up and out. And, so you're still part of the team. And those managed up and out help me. And so, did you did any of you guys go ahead and touch base with Nora yesterday?
I did, yes.
Nice. And what was her response?
She said she's listening to the podcast, but I think there's maybe some conflict with the manage up and out or something that she was like, or I'm not a response that she got. I'm not sure what exactly it was. And
Okay.
she was like, you can ask her about it.
Well, I can, or you can fix it. Like you can help her to see that situation in a different way. I mean, who's getting hurt most because she's not managing up and out?
Probably herself.
Herself. No question. No question. She's the one getting hurt the most because she's not managing up and out. Who's getting hurt? Who's getting hurt the next?
Her son?
Okay, well, he might be the most. So she and her son are the most. And who's next? It's you guys. She has insights that you guys don't have. Who's getting hurt the least?
You?
Right. And who's she probably ticked off at?
You?
Right. I mean, I don't know, but I could guess because everybody gets picks at the driver. Everybody gets blame the driver for everything, which is fine. It's okay. But what a valuable lesson. It's like, when I get ticked at somebody and I change my behavior, are they getting hurt, or am I hurting myself, or am I hurting people that had nothing to do with it? What a invaluable lesson. Great lesson for me. Often that happens. We're hurting people that that aren't even involved in it. Innocent, like in law enforcement, they're innocent bystanders that get shot. That's not good. Or if you go ahead and have an issue with somebody, what do? You talk to them about it. Well, if that says, if you say, well, that didn't go so good last time. Okay, so it didn't go good once. What do you, when something doesn't go good once, what do you do?
Try something or try it again, maybe tweak it a little, or maybe not even tweak it at all.
Right. You're just relentless. Like you go ahead and, you go ahead and do it again. Try differently. Try this way or this way or this way or this way or this way. You don't just give up. Because if you just give up, you don't address it. Well, it didn't go good last time. Okay. Well, again, we can think things are going well when they're not. We can think things are going bad when they're not. They're going good. We can think things are going good when they're not going good. We can think things are going bad when they're going good. We can think people care when they don't care. We can think people don't care when they do care. Like that's just humility. That's just wisdom. It's just wisdom to say, hey, maybe there's something bigger going on here than what I see. And so you address the situation. So that's, so cool. Anybody else have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Sounds good. Always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever can on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
How that went.
All right. So you always come early, always stay late. I mean, that's where the real magic happens. So I asked Kevin, when did you make your 10 calls? He said, no, I made 7. I said, ooh, Kevin, do you know that 10th call, not the first 9, but the 10th call could have, you could have made $3,000 or $10,000 on it. And he said, yes, he knew that. And then he went ahead and explained himself. He had singing and, this and all this kind of stuff. Now, what do you think, my response is going to be for that, Kevin?
I don't want excuses. I want results.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I'm such a nice person, as you guys all know. But the marketplace is like a jungle. And you have this cute zebra in the jungle, or you could have a cute little puppy dog. And, if a wolf gets to it, a wolf eats it. Like it doesn't care how cute it is. It just eats it. So the marketplace doesn't care. So what happens in your brain when you come up with reasons why you didn't do things, your brain you're not going to learn as much. So you're not going to learn as much. And so you're going to go ahead and you're not going to learn as much. You're not going to learn as fast. And the next time you run into that situation, you're going to go ahead and, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing again, come up with another reason. Then you're going to wonder why. Well, I'm not making the money. I thought I was going to make this amount of money. Well, yeah, but the reason you didn't make that money is because of this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation. But you won't know it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so, why do I love having you involved with the training with the ladies?
I'm not sure.
Because I can I can beat the crap out of you. You're a guy. Like, I'll just beat the living daylights on. You're a guy. Like Katie, like she forgot that she had Tuesday with boyfriend, Thursday and Friday. How do you forget that? Well, I mean, she's 16. Okay. So she's learning, she's not married. She doesn't have kids. So she forgets things. So she doesn't have, her life is radically changing now. And so, but that could have cost all of you a massive amount. This is iteration to success. And so her mistake on not paying attention to the details, but I can't go ahead and really point her out. I mean, she's a girl, she's a woman. And so women, like when women come up with reasons, men, you're trained from a little boy. When men come up with reasons, Kevin, what do you do as a man?
Tell him his reasons suck. I don't know.
No. When your wife, your mom, your sister, when any of the women in your life come up with reasons why they're not doing things, what do you do as a man?
Not sure, honestly.
You do know. You've got to know. How long have you been married?
Just about a year soon.
Yeah, so a year. So when your wife comes up with a reason why she didn't do something she said she was going to do, what are you going to say? You're going to say, okay, honey. Or you're not going to say anything. You're not going to challenge her reason, her way of thinking. I mean, hey, I'm pregnant. This is why I couldn't do it. You're not going to challenge. So your mom taught you and your sisters taught you when they come up with reasons, little boys, yeah, there's no reasons. I mean, if you're a woman listening to this, say that, Mark, that's not true. I mean, boys will be boys. Okay, you're right. Boys have excuses too, but they're not as accessible. So boys are challenged more. And so there's an income gap between men and women. Some of that is, gender, some of that. I love when women make more than men. I mean, I'd love for the women in my life to make more money than me. That'd be so cool. I've never experienced that. I'd love to experience that. And so, well, some of the salespeople that I've trained have done that, which I love that. But women tend to go ahead, and so you just are trained. And so, me, I'm trained in that too. So I'm not going to push women as much as I am men. And so this actually hurts women. And so I tell women, you need to go ahead and, if you want to be pushed more, tell me, Mark, because I can push every woman in my life. I can push them more without question. Without question, I can push them more. Elaine's probably one of the strongest ones, maybe the strongest one that I've met. My daughter, Ginger Ann, she's pretty strong too. She pushes herself, and she'll say, push me more, Dad, our oldest daughter. But she's got 7 kids. Why? And, Elaine's got 5 kids, but they push themselves hard. So you want to learn how to push yourself hard. You don't want to learn. You want to learn. And if you're a woman, you've got to push yourself harder than men, because in the world, men are just pushed harder. They're expected more. There's less reasons. I mean, it's funny. Like my son, Ben, goes ahead and works in the RV factory. And there was an Amish girl that was doing something, and she was, giving him a hard time. She was giving him a hard time, and he lit her up like a Christmas tree. I mean, she was complaining about it. He says, I help you and I help other people. You want to help this? Help me. You want to take my job? Take mine. I'll take yours any day of the week. Like, he lit her up, and all the Amish guys are like big and eyed, and they're like, holy, did he just do that? And he's survived, 5, 6 layoffs. And he's like, yeah, I mean, that's just, I have 4 sisters. I'm not putting up with this stuff. He's pretty courageous. And so women, you're listening to this, you have to push yourself harder, because you have an innate ability to emasculate men so they won't push you. They won't call you out. They won't tell the truth. They won't. They just won't. This is how life is. So you have to push yourself. And women will tend not to push other women. Everybody's coming up with reasons. What a great after. Thank you, Kevin. That's a wonderful gift to everybody. Anything else you have, sir?
No.
Okay.